Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new ukulele tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about alternatives to the C7 chord. We all know and love C7, it's a great chord, it's used in so many songs. 0001, very easy to play, but you know there are alternatives. There are ways to take a C7 chord and kind of spice it up a little bit. And for different situations, different genres, different styles and songs, these alternatives can all lend their own sound. They have a unique character to them. So let's get into some alternatives. The first thing I played there, it was in the key of G. It was Route 66, Nat King Cole, his version of it. And what I did was I used something called a G6 chord instead of a G. And I used something called a C9 chord instead of a C7. And I also threw in an augmented chord. I like to spice things up a little bit sometimes like that. So let's look at that C9 chord. That was the alternative that I used instead of just plain old C7. All I did was add one finger, and it gives it such a different character. So this is 0201, and I will provide chord diagrams on Patreon. You will catch them in the link down below. So feel free to mosey on over there, and you'll see nice pictures of these chords. And then in a subsequent video, I'd like to do chord progressions. I'm going to take all these fancy C7 chords that we learned today, put them into actual chord progressions, and that'll be a part 2 of this video. But C9 is the chord that we're talking about, derived from C7. C7, C9, they kind of go together too. So they're interchangeable in a lot of situations. But the C9 might be a little too spicy for some situations. Like if you're doing like a children's song, London Bridge or something like that, Polly Wolly Doodle. That might be a little hipper than a children's song would warrant. But for Nat King Cole, it's perfect. Alright, so there you go, C9. There's this really easy C7. It's just slightly harder than our traditional C7, but it has a different voicing, a different sound. Here's how you play it. 3003. Kind of bluesy little number. It works pretty good in place of a traditional C7. It's not that out there. It's not that embellished that it sounds a little dissonant or anything. It's pretty normal sounding to me. Fairly neutral voicing. Taking that one step further. This one I like. This kind of gives me a feeling of Americana twang, bluegrass, roots kind of music. This one, banjo too. It reminds me of something a banjo player might play. 3031. So it has the traditional C7 right back there, but we're adding 2 additional fingers to give this sound. Real cool little unique voicing that doesn't sound like C9, nor does it sound like a traditional C7. It's its own thing. And then we have C13. Very easy to play, but extremely hip. It's the 3rd fret on your G string, and then the other strings are open, so it's 3000. Real evocative, kind of moody chord with minimal effort. So that was C13. We have a different C13 where we do the same thing, but we add an additional finger. I use this one all the time, especially in the key of F. I know other people do too. I've seen this out there quite often. So it's 3030. C13. I use it in the key of F kind of like this a lot of times. Little C7 or C7 substitute. Really, it's a C13, and the reason it's a 13 is because we're adding the note A, the 13th note of the scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Number 13. So that's called a tension or an extension. They sometimes call that in a chord theory world. And basically you count the octave C through C as 1 through 8. C, D, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6. Keep that in mind, that A is 6, B is 7, C is 8. And then D is 9. That's where you get ninth chords from. E is 12. Don't use that very often as a extension like that. But F is 11. You do have 11th chords and sharp 11 chords. We'll talk about those in the future. You have 12 and you have 13. The note we're talking about, A. So add an A to a C chord and you get a C13. If that was confusing, we'll be talking about extensions in future lessons, but for today I'm going to leave the theory to a bare minimum. So don't let that confuse you if you didn't quite understand what I just said. Alright, C13 has another voicing like this. Another evocative one, real moody. It has some kind of close intervals that give it that real nice complexity. This one is 3-4-3-0. Kind of looks like a G chord. It's the same shape as G, moved over one set of strings and up a fret. You get C13. Here's a bar chord for you, C9. I actually use that one in Route 66 sometimes too. So this is just a different voicing of C9. We have this one back here, lower sounding, and then this kind of higher sounding C9. Any chord can be inverted and moved to different positions on the neck to get slightly different sounds. But this one, C9, is 3-4-3-5. Nice little bar across the 3rd fret there. What's cool about this one is it's slidable. You can slide it from 1 fret lower, the 2nd fret, up to the 3rd fret to get an extra bluesy sound out of it. Or you can even make it sound like funk music if you wanted. Like a James Brown sort of thing. So C9, very cool chord. Then we have C7 flat 9. And you might be saying, whoa, wait a minute, that's a diminished chord. Why are you calling it C7 flat 9? My book says that's a diminished chord. That's a B flat diminished chord, or an E diminished chord, a G diminished chord, or a D flat diminished chord. And in fact, all of those answers would be right. This is indeed all 4 of those diminished 7th, to be technically correct. It's a diminished 7th chord. But diminished 7th chords have a dual identity. They also are dominant 7 flat 9 chords. If that is really high level music theory talk that confuses the heck out of you, then don't worry. Just memorize that this chord is a C7 flat 9. It's a nice jazzy substitute for C7, used in situations maybe like this. So 7 flat 9 chords are dissonant by themselves, but in a situation like a 2-5-1 in jazz, you get some beautiful results. So, and if 2-5-1 is a term that you're not so sure about, we'll be talking about them. We'll talk about 2-5-1s. I do have a lesson coming up that I'm going to teach you about songs like Beyond the Sea, and songs like Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, Blue Moon. There's a whole mess of songs out there that use 2-5-1 chord progressions. And I do plan on having a lesson real soon about those. So hang on to your hats and we'll go for a ride into the world of music theory. Alright, so after C7 flat 9, we have a bonus set of chords. And one of these is just an additional C13 chord that I'd like to show you. Real evocative, has some nice intervals in it. A little bit bit of a unison to E notes, but really unique C13. This one is 3-4-0-0. Maybe not the best to play in an up-tempo strumming situation, but a good one for a ballad or a fingerstyle situation. That would be nice. And then another bonus chord I have for you is G9, and that's up at the 4th fret. That would be 4-5-5-5. I know we've been talking about C7 substitutes, but this would be a G7 substitute. An especially bluesy one. Real nice. Instead of G7. G9. Take G9 down 2 frets to 2-3-3-3, and what do you get? F9. And that's a good F7 substitute instead of F7. They're in the same family. They work together really nicely. So these are 9th chords, these are 13th chords, and just kind of ways to embellish very basic 7th chords. Alright, ukulele people, I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to click the notify bell up there if you want to be notified every time I come out with a new one of these, which I try to do about once a week. And be sure to share this with your friends, let everybody know. Mosey on over to my Patreon channel and you will find the tabs for all of these chords. And also when I come out with my chord progression video, you'll find all those progressions over there too. Those are Patreon exclusives. You do have to be a patron to get those, but it's well worth it. You pay as little as $1 a month, $12 a year. You get access to every single tab I've ever put on Patreon, and those are piling up over the last couple of years. There's lots and lots of them. So it's a really affordable way to get into music education without spending thousands in tuition for a conservatory or a college of music. All right, ukulele people, you take care, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.